Hello there, welcome back once again. We are continuing with quality assurance in pharmacy practice. So we are going to look at something new today, and that is what they call good manufacturing practices. So we need to define what they are. What are some of the good manufacturing practices that you may find, or what are the components of a good manufacturing practice? So good manufacturing practice can be defined as that quality assurance which ensures that products are consistently produced and controlled to the quality standards appropriate to their intended use. Okay, so you find that good manufacturing practice is part of quality assurance, or it is like a branch of quality assurance. And what does it do? Ensures that products are consistently produced and controlled to the quality standards appropriate to their intended use. So these products should be consistently safe, pure, and effective products. Okay, so there are following components that you need to put in mind of good manufacturing practice. One is what we call quality control. The other is what we call premise and equipment, and then we have personnel, raw materials, documentation, and then standard operating procedures, validation, and then complaint handling and product recall. Then we also have what we call product audit, or audit of your products. All right, so let's look at components of a good manufacturing practice. We are starting with one, and that is quality control. So quality control, you can define it as a practice of checking your raw materials and then pharmaceutical products as they are produced to make sure that their quality meets specifications of the pharmacopoeia used. So quality control is like, if you're like, I can use a layman's example. For example, maybe you're cooking beans, yeah? So you're going to set fire, and then you're going to put the procedure. Of course, you know the procedure based on the country you're coming from. Yeah, so you find that if it is fresh beans, you know the procedure. If it is maybe the dry ones, you also know the procedure. So by you constantly checking, like from the start, you have to sort the beans. So the process of sorting, you're making sure that whatever you're going to prepare is of quality. Okay, whatever you're going to put in that saucepan is of what? Is of quality. So you are removing out those that are not of quality. Okay, and then the washing bit of it, you're making sure that it is clean. So you're also looking at the quality of the food that is going to come out. Yeah, and then maybe the preparation bit of it, like you are going to keep checking whether it is ready. Like you keep checking, maybe you add water, something like that. So that other process, as it is boiling, you have to keep checking whether it's almost, whether it's ready. And then when now it's ready, like you have to fry for those who are going to fry it. So when you're looking at manufacture, you also need to look at it in that aspect, or in that view. Like you have to look at the raw materials that have come in. You need to sort them. Are they all of quality that you needed to have? Is it going to give you the final result that you are like planning to have? So if it is not, you're going to sort out the good ones and the bad ones. Yeah, so after you have sorted out that, you start now the manufacturing process. When you are weighing, you're going to keep checking, have I weighed the right thing? Is it the right volume? All right. Or if it is, that is for solutions. If it is maybe like in grams for solids. So like you're going to keep checking every step that you're going to do. When you're mixing, you're going to check, have I mixed right? Have I followed the right thing? And then after now the product is formed, okay, you are going to look at, is it the desired color that we are looking at? Is it a clear solution? If it was supposed to be clear solution, is it having any particles inside it? And then the other chemical bit of it is when you're checking out for the bioavailability of your product. So all those procedures of cross-checking your raw materials and the product to determine how good they are for consumption is what we call quality control. For example, after you've fried the beans, you're going to look at, is the salt enough? Did I put the right salt? Okay, so like you are monitoring all the time. So that other practice or procedure of monitoring those things or those parameters that you're looking out in the quality of your product, that's what we call quality control. Okay, so the other component is the equipments and the premise. So you're going to look at the equipments I am using. Am I using the right saucepan? Am I using the right maybe source of fire? For the example of the beans, yeah. So for your products, you're going to look at, have I chosen the right thing to use? Okay, if yes, is it of standard? Will it give me the right accurate measurements of things that I want to weigh? Because we want to prevent adulteration, and then you're looking at your premise. Is your premise suitable enough for you to prepare whatever product you're preparing? Okay, is there any suspect of cross contamination from the environment to maybe the room that you're compounding, that you're manufacturing your product? And then the personnel, you're looking at the people who are going to carry out these procedures. Do they know what to do? For example, I will still go back to the example of beans. Yeah. So, like maybe you are so many at home, and then you have this other sibling of yours, and maybe they are around, I can say 2 years. Yeah. So, like, we cannot give a 2-year-old child to make beans, not even, or just beans, even hot water. Yeah, because we are looking at them getting burnt. So here the personnel, we are looking at the technical bit of it. Are you competent enough to carry out that specific procedure? Are you trained enough? Do you have the skill to manufacture that specific product that that company is manufacturing, that industry is manufacturing? So that's like the personnel. And then the materials, looking at the raw materials, the ones you're going to use, are they of quality? If they are chemicals, like do they meet the standard? Because what about the packaging material you're going to use? Is it also going to have any interactions with the active pharmaceutical ingredient that you're using? Are you using the right pharmacopoeia? Are you using a reference book for manufacturing? Are you considering the quality right from the raw material step to the final product? Like you're looking at so many things when you look at the materials. What about documentation? Whatever you're going to do, you have to document it. If you sorted beans, you have to record, like, I sorted beans, I got this, I separated this and that. So why it is good to document in case of any adulteration, in case of any complaints, like we are able to go back to our records and check what exactly transpired in the process of manufacture, what exactly happened. Okay, for example, like if you're manufacturing any product that you may think about, you find that every product should have documentation. When you receive that product, who supplied the product, and then who weighed, who was maybe counter checking the weights and cross checking, who was also present in the compounding room, who packed the products, how was the product packed. So all those things have to be included. And then in documentation, after looking at all the procedures you've carried out, you're in position to tell us how much of what you have prepared and document it down. Like you're able to determine the expiry, the batch number, and other things based on the quality and how good your product that you have manufactured is. And then the procedure documents, of course, will include the set of the analytical procedures that you have, like what I was just from saying, that you have carried out. What are the standard operating procedures that you followed? And then the set of specifications for testing materials. Okay, we said quality control when we're just starting the components. We said that quality control looks at the testing. of your product, right from the raw material until the final product. Okay, you have to test your product. Is it having the right pH? Is it a desired pH for this specific patient? Is it the desired quantity? Is it the desired bioavailability, potency, efficacy of the medicine? So, work records may include your batch manufacturing records, like what we was talking about, and then your batch control records, and then you will have also in-process control records. You will also have receipts and what and issues. Okay. So when you look at the standard operating procedures as a component, we see that good manufacturing practices define standard operating procedures as a step-by-step instructions to be followed when performing any manufacturing procedure. So these procedures have to be followed. So characteristics can be clear, they have to be clear. Like everyone should be in position to understand. You should use the terms or the words that everyone can comprehend, okay? They should be brief, don't make it in bigger paragraph. If it is mix, say mix this and that. If it is weigh, say weigh this. Don't say to this and this, weigh this quantity, using this and this, something like that. Like make it easy for your employees or people who are there to follow it. And then we have what you call validation. So you see that validation is defined as a proof that a system does what it is supposed to do. Like you're validating. If we have set good manufacturing practices, we have to validate maybe in the process of manufacture, are they doing it? Are they following what we are supposed to do? We say that quality assurance is these are the guidelines or system that sets guidelines that when followed make sure that the product manufactured is of quality. So after you have set these guidelines, you have to validate, you have to check, are the guidelines being followed? Are people using the guidelines right? Are there some challenges they are facing in the process of maybe executing the different guidelines that have been set? Is there something else we need to add? Are there some resources that we need to look out for? Yeah. And then complaints and product recall. So every product you manufacture, they may have complaints or compliments. Yeah. So, like people can appreciate the product or have issues that can arise as a result of consuming the product. For example, if you're a business person and maybe you're making juice, you find that you may find feedback from your clients about how good the juice is or how bad it is. Okay, so there is always need for us to know how to handle complaints because they are always going to be there. What about product recall? If complaints come up and these complaints are life threatening, like they're giving bad record to the patients, they are threatening the life of the patient, we are always encouraged to call these products back. Like let these people return whatever is in the market, let them return it back. So recall is like you are returning what you already distributed out to the market back to the facility, back to your manufacturing unit. Okay, so a recall is defined as a calling back of the manufactured defective product already on market. And then when you look at a complaint, we see that it is a situation where the customer is not satisfied with the quality of the manufacturer's product. Okay, so all complaints and other information regarding the defectiveness or the defective product should be handled carefully and should be written. Okay, you see that there is also need for documentation here. So this is a continuation of your complaints and product recall as a component of good manufacturing practices. So in your free time, you can pause it and maybe understand more. But I try to condense all this information because when there is a bad reputation, like a bad compliment from your clients, of course, it affects the reputation of your manufacturing unit. It affects the reputation of the health facility that is dispensing that specific medication. Yeah. So the other thing is audit. So we see that you need to always keep checking, auditing, like you're checking what's happening, what's going on. Is it right? Are people doing it right? So there are specifically three types of audits. There is personal audit, like the person who is weighing has to recheck the values they are weighing. Is it the right thing? And then if it is right, like that's your personal bit of it. You're checking yourself. Like at the end of the day, I used some example in another lecture. Maybe if you happen to have listened to it, I'm going to repeat it. That is, you as a person, you may decide to set goals for the day. All right. So after you have set the goals for the day, after the day is done, like it's evening, you're back at home, like you're going to evaluate yourself. What did I do? Like what did I plan to do? And then what did I do it? And then if I did it, did I face any challenges? Yeah. So like you're auditing yourself, you're checking yourself. So whenever you are manufacturing, or maybe when you're dispensing, okay, like you're dispensing your medications, you have to cross check, is this the right name of the patient that I am dealing with, that I am giving this medication? Like you have to counter check it. Yeah. So you also check, is it the right quantity that they are expected to receive? Is it the right medication anyway for their condition? Okay. So like you're doing personal audit. That's why somebody say that it's also part of integrity, like doing the right thing even when nobody's seeing. Yeah. So like it helps you to do it, like self-discipline, have that self-discipline. If you have set up something to do, like make sure and endeavor that you achieve it, because you will be doing a disservice to yourself for not have done it the way you had pictured it, like the way you wanted it to be done. Yeah. Then internal audit is when you can have a quality assurance, maybe a department in the manufacturing unit, and they are coming in to check what you're doing, whether it is the right thing. Okay, so those are like internal auditors. If we were looking at producing maybe or manufacturing maybe 1 liter of any medication you can think of that's in solution form, and then the internal auditors, after you have done your work, they look at what you've done, the procedures you have written, yeah, the document, all the documents that you have done. Did you do the right thing? Can we release this product on market? And then external auditors is when we have regulatory bodies. For example, here in our country, we have what you call National Drug Authority. So the National Drug Authority can come in, and then maybe the auditors, those other auditors around can come in and check whatever we are doing, is it right? Are we protecting the quality? Are we looking at making the standard? Okay. Are we manufacturing standard products that are going to benefit the clients? So that's it, what's here. Personal audit, internal audits, and then external audits. In your free time, you can pause these slides and see or expound more on what these audits mean. Okay, you can have your free time and expound on that. So the other component we are looking at is use of data to analyze service delivery. Okay, so we have talked about documentation as one of the components of good manufacturing practice. So after you've documented, is it going to help you, or you're documenting because you have been asked to document? Okay, so we find that this data that we always document is going to help us in one way or the other. How is it going to help us? One, you see that we need this data to provide statements with facts. Yeah, we need to always present information based on facts. Okay, so when we have the data, we are able to say, I did this and that, and it is documented. It also enables in planning and identifying the needs. When evaluation or validation is done, they are able to plan on something better, okay, in case there was a mistake that was done in the process, or even if there was no mistake, okay, they are looking at how can we do something better, how can we make it more. maybe you're preparing only 20 liters. They're like, how can we make more than 20 liters? And they're able to look out for resources that can enable them to make sure that they make more than what 20 liters. Yeah, identifying the root causes of the problem. There is always like problems can come up, so if it is not documented and put down, you're not able to know what to tackle, what to handle. Like I say, you as a person, it is always good to make sure that you have a plan for that day. So after you have maybe a written plan, to be more precise, and then after the end of the day, you're going to take what you did right or that you were in position to achieve. Yeah. So if you're not in position to achieve, what was the problem? What went wrong? Like, did you forget about it? Did you get occupied? Did you find another program? Did you get a random maybe schedule? So you need to like, you need to have that data so for you to know there is a problem. All right, so even in the manufacturing unit, this data enables them to identify the root causes. Even as complaints have been brought back from the community about our product, we are able to look back and see what was the problem. I think since we added too much sugar, let us reduce. Okay, in case you're dealing with something that deals with sugar, right? Then monitoring and evaluating services, and then we also see that it is very important for data to be useful and it should be reliable information. So we see that in workplaces there is always data, and you need to always have data. If we compile all this data and study it, we will get the trend of the events that have been happening. Maybe you are looking at how many batches do we make in a week, how many of them do we make in a month, how many of them have we made it this year. Okay, so analysis of data will reveal to us the information that can be used to improve the pharmaceutical services. And there are so two types of information. That is data that you can collect locally, and then data that you may obtain from reference books. Okay, so that data that we collect locally can be routinely collected data, which may include the number of patients attending to that facility in a day. If you're manufacturing, you're going to look at the number of batches you're manufacturing in a week, a day, something like that, the number of prescriptions that you have dispensed, the name and the amount of drugs that you have used, the number of hours you have worked. In a manufacturing unit, we see that the standard operating procedures have to be documented that you followed. Okay, the types of disease and their frequencies also have to be included, and then outpatient and inpatient returns have also to be included. How about that we get in reference books? We see that we have the different records that enable you monitor this locally collected data. You have your patient attendance register, you have the purchase order books, you have the stock cards, you have inventory books, you have the prescription books, you have the classified drug book, and then the batch manufacturing book. Okay, so the use of this data, we are continuing. We see that all this data can from time to time be studied to see if there is any problem in the health facility. Yeah. So what are the sources of data for reference material? We see that these are some of them for the manufacturing unit. We have extra pharmacopoeia, which is our Martindale, and then we have the African Monthly Index of Medical Specialists, specialties, sorry for that. And then National Drug Register, we have the British National Formulary, and so many others that you can read in your free time. So this continues, and then we have the last component of quality assurance, which is teamwork. We see that teamwork is relevant, and there are so many benefits of working as a team. You're able to get many ideas or opinions with a saying that goes, two heads are better than one. The best ideas can be selected out of so many because you're working as a team and collaborating, there is a collective decision making. Okay, you're not rushing to make a decision based on what you have understood. Use of communication skills to improve quality. We see that it is also a component of quality assurance. So we see that communication is a process by which messages are transferred from source to a receiver and back to the source. So information has to be effective and information should be processed right. If you're giving information to the patient, you need to know which information to give the patient and how do you get feedback from the patient. Okay, so you see that there are so many importance of communicating in improving quality. Okay, yeah. So what are the methods of assessing the levels of quality at your workplace? You can ask questions using a questionnaire and then find out. You can also observe what's happening. Okay, you can have your checklist, and in your checklist you have specific parameters that you're looking out, and those parameters should be enabling you to assess how standard quality is and like the service people are providing. And these are some of the things that you may have in your checklist when you're looking at observation method. And then we have good manufacturing practices, which we have just looked at. Yeah. So I don't know whether we should repeat this because it's ideally what we have just looked at. Okay. All right. But anyway, let's go through it chap chap. You see that good pharmacy practice involves four main groups of activities. That is promoting good health, preventing ill health, and achieving health objectives. Supply and use of medication, and then self-care activities, and influencing prescribing and use of medicines. So how do you promote health and prevention of ill health? We see that facilities to confidentially conversation or have a confidential conversation should be provided. Like you need to have a private room where you can talk to the patients to look at that principle of privacy. Yeah, provision of general advice on health matters should also be carried out, and make a care team to facilitate coordination and ensure consistency. Okay, you look at supply and use of prescribed medications and other healthcare products. You're going to look at the reception of prescription and then confirmation of integrity while these prescriptions have been retained and then as the medications are dispensed. The assessment of prescriptions by pharmacists should also be taken into consideration for a right product or quality product to be dispensed. Assembling of the prescribed items diligently, this roughly takes us to the dispensing roles. What are the self-care activities? We say that the process by a lay person can function effectively on his or her own behalf in health promotion and decision making. So self-care activities, you're looking at the activities you do as a person to make sure that you're doing the right thing, you're providing the right service, you're portraying integrity. Yeah, so this still continues on self-care activities and what they may include: regular exercise, disease prevention, home pregnancy tests, breast self-examination. Like these are things you need. Like you need to take care of yourself, and how you take care of yourself are listed down here. So in your free time, you can pause this slide and then listen to it or follow it. What are the things influencing higher? Wow. So thank you so much everyone for coming up to this end. I appreciate. Okay. And keep tuning to Graph Academy. Keep loving Graph Academy. Together we can make Graph Academy a great channel for our learning. Okay, I wish you all the best. Subscribe, like, and share to content in this channel, and hit that bell so that you always get notifications. All right, So thank you so much.